Hey, it's the Market Sniper coming at you with the traditional markets, non-crypto. That is the big badass world you're always used to up until around about 2010 when Bitcoin came out. That is equities, commodities, indices, you name it. And we're looking at the big inflation. The big inflation is the game, guys. So here's how this thing works. Actually, last week, or was it 10 days ago? Not entirely sure, but Bitcoin took a little bit of a dump, and so did gold, silver, and various other risk-on assets. And that was on Biden, yours truly, suggesting he's going to double capital gains. So here's how they play the game, guys. This is a little bit of a reset sniper interlude introduction so that you understand how you are being shafted. So what actually happens is everybody has money. You have, and I go around to all your notes where you have £1, $1, and I make the number two. £2, $2. Where you got 10,000, I make it 20,000. Where you have 100,000, I make it 200,000. Your salary, where you were earning 100,000 a year, I make it 200,000 a year. Everything gets a 2 where there used to be a 1. That's called inflationary. You're creating more money. It's being created. Actually, most of it's being hoarded by those at top, and there's not very much trickle down. In other words, we're dividing the wealth to the absolute extreme rich, the billionaire class, and everybody else. And you're unfortunately in the everybody else. Most of you, I would say 99.999. Good luck to that 1 billionaire watching right now. So what in essence has happened is also everything you buy has gone up from $1 to $2, $5 to $10, your milk, your eggs, and everything else. And you have marginal tax rates, which used to, in Britain, for example, sub £40,000, you probably pay about 13%, up to about 22.5, £23,000 odd. I don't know what it'll be today. They sort of give you a little bit each year, to like they're giving you a gift, like a tax reduction. Is income tax free, and then it goes up, and then you start hitting the hyper tax brackets. The same for corporation tax in America and general income taxes. So what ends up happening is you go immediately, all of you, into a much higher income tax break. So while nominally you are wealthier because you now earn $200,000 a year, you're actually poorer because you're paying a significant higher percentage of that in tax. Everything that you buy is twice as expensive. So of what's left of your disposable income, which has been reduced by marginal tax rates because you've been dragged ever higher, more of your money has been hit at the higher rate, is getting higher, etc. You are actually poorer in real terms in terms of what you can buy and what you can save. And you haven't been lent money at 0.1%, 0.2%, 0.3% to go and buy billions of stock, which is all going up at the better part of 15-20% up a year, continually growing and hyper-extending your megadom billionaire balance sheet. So you're not heavily invested in assets apart from maybe your own home and a small stock portfolio and maybe a little handful of cryptos. And now these other guys are becoming super rich as all these assets all go up twice. So you have Apple that was about 800 billion at one point, and then without really significantly doing anything magnificent on its earnings, etc., selling more devices, more penetration, more market share or anything, is now over a 2 trillion company. So what ends up happening is everything's costing double. You've got a bigger number, but actually you're poorer in real purchasing terms because you're not oversized on the asset side like these other guys. You haven't got cheap debt. Your debt's on your credit card and it's costing you 11%, 15%, 16%. Your debt's on your mortgage or your home payment and it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%. You don't get to borrow like everybody else. And then Joe shows up and says, you know what, that stock portfolio of yours that has done a little bit okay, and some of you bought some cheeky Bitcoin, that's done okay. Well, we're going to double the capital gains on that. So they tax you with the inflation by making you poorer and making everything else go up by 2x. And the little bit that you had put in asset-based inflationary environment where it could grow, such as the likes of Bitcoin, such as the likes of stocks, etc., is now going to be taxed even more. This is the double tax sandwich. Inflation from below, pushing everything you do higher and more expensive without you having to do anything, just standing still, that's biting you anyway. And that bit that you rescued and put for your long-term saving to try help you keep up with the fact that you're having diminishing income is now being attacked at twice the level, potentially. We'll see what passes. We'll see what happens on that. And many people will say, oh, there's no inflation, there's no reset. We've always said this is going to end inflationary, but you will get potential for deflationary shocks. For example, the guys that have been drilling doing drills around electricity downs and whole grid downs and the banking system, cooperating with Russia. Remember, Russia is the bad guys. We hate them. We put sanctions on them. They're evil. They do all sorts of nasty things, we say, or so we say. But when it comes to drilling for a grid down situation, hey, the world's all united and one. The big hack. But then it'll happen and it'll be blamed on the Russians, the Chinese, the North Koreans. Who knows what will happen? It'll never be the CIA. Do you know, in an article today, I was reading the FBI can now go without permission into private computers, make changes to files and exit without needing your permission in corporations and everything else, all on the basis that there was malicious code, they've identified it, and they've elected to play a more proactive role in removing these shells that are being dropped there that are on your devices. So all of this is happening. Beware the great grid down. On that point, he says, offline money is good. Reaching into the drawer. Offline money is good. I think I might have showed this last time. The bullion bar 1 kilo. There is a link for that which will be shared by my support team roundabout at this moment right now, where you can purchase physical of your own 1 kilo of real money. So the key thing to play safe that is going to save you on the crypto front, which will also go grid down if power outages, big hacks occur, is having physical money too. Hence why we say have a stable, not the fastest horse, have the fastest horse and a whole bunch of other horses for different days, for pulling the wagon, not just for winning the Durban July or the Cheltenham Grand National. You've got to have one that jumps, you've got to have one that runs super fast, you've got to have one that'll pull all day long. And that means you are a man of all seasons. So this is all about inflation, but you also have to do some defense against these possibilities of real reset threats. So what am I saying to you before I get into the charts? I'm saying also have a higher level of cash on you in the event of grid down and limitations on ATM access. Remember, bank closures, lockdowns, they've got you where they want you. Martial law, whether you want to admit it or not. Grab your cash, have more cash on you in case you have to make purchases. Have silver coins and have bars for wealth, for bigger purchases if you need to save you from that. And that link is being shared right now. You can go order physical, beautiful buffaloes. Did I show you? I love the feel of real money. I've got to get it out again. Sorry about this. We will get to the charts. We're going to be talking to you about lumber today. Got a joke for you on lumber, but just look at that. I just love getting it out. Isn't it lovely? Oh, it's lovely. Oh, it's lovely. Look at the buffalo. There's an old nag's head on the one side, but then the buffalo. Yeah, show me buffalo. So that's good stuff. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about oil. We're going to talk about equities. We're going to talk about one or two specific equities that are a little bit interesting. We're keeping an eye on. We're going to catch up on palladium, gold, and silver. How has palladium done since we've last told you? Thinking gold and silver a little bit tired now after escaping the falling wedge. We'll have a look at that technically as well. So we'll do a number of things there. Let's start straight away and get on with it. Let's show you the lumber chart. Lumber. So apparently there's no inflation, they say. Apparently there's no inflation. I like to joke. In fact, I think it was one of the community guys that shared a picture that said, cops make major seizure of at the border of lumber hidden in containers full of cocaine. You know, it's like, oh, we're seizing the lumber. It's being smuggled. Millions of dollars worth, you know, a couple of beams stashed there amidst all the powder. This is what's happening on lumber. It is climbing, climbing, climbing. Of course, green is everything. No choppy the tree. And now there's not enough trees and they've got to plant and they've got to grow and now you want to chop it and now you want natural products like wood. And guess what? It's all going up. It's all going up. This is a 4-hour chart. Let's have a look how it's done. Monthly. Take a look at them apples, he says. Not apple trees, just them apples. That's quite a mighty climb. You could have got lumber way back down here in and around 253, 1423. No inflation. Don't you dare say it. Try build a house now in the USA on wood and see if that costs gone up any? No, it's going to be real expensive. They do a lot of wood building out there. It's going to be real expensive. So this is what's happening across a number of different commodities. I've made this point before, but I'm going to keep making it because you're not exploiting it enough. This is your chance. The inflation trading. By the way, give us a like and a share through your favorite media. We really appreciate that. I don't know if any of you saw this flippin' Agent Orange from European Central Bank. Oh my God, what a piece of work. She says, we're responding to criticism about negative interest rates and how, you're not helping savers. And she goes on to say, well, actually we're keeping rates low so that the little people can get on the housing ladder. The low rates are what pumped the housing bubble and why they're so goddamn expensive. That is not helping the little people. They don't give doodly for the little people. The people that are borrowing big and getting cheap rates when you're a bank, it's much easier to get billions out to a mega corp at a low amount because the central bank is just pushing cash at you that they've created and said, you got to get it out. Otherwise, it's a excess reserve and we're charging you a negative amount. So they're just giving billions out at low rates. Do you think they really want to go do a whole bunch of 10 grand loans to high risk little SMEs in martial law lockdown season? Not a sausage is that funding getting to anybody who is job creating at an SME level. It ain't happening. And certainly the little that does is not happening at the rates that do. This woman is part of a cartel of criminals that are intentionally creating billionaire class by creating hyperinflation with people that have had privileged lending facilities and can go net long with big amounts leverage on the likes of Bitcoin, on the likes of the stock market, on a everything to the moon game. And they are going to keep printing their money, and they are going to keep saying there's no inflation. CPI is low. CPI will give you whatever you put in, garbage out. We'll never ever forget that. Shuffle the numbers up. We don't want a bit of this. We remove that. We pop this in. How much do you think lumber is making up part of the shopping wagon? Well, not very much. And they can vacillate between CPI and PPI depending on which one they like more on the given rates, and they can continually adjust it. Plus there's shrinkflation. You're getting less. The same amount of product looks like only less. These are all the tricks, and they all are taxation of you. You are being ripped off. You need to take action to defend yourself from the greatest confiscation of the masses to the few. That's what's happening. Hear that message again. You need to take action today to protect you from confiscationary policies that is designed to strip the masses into a UBI Bolshevik communistic world. You need to take action to avoid that because they are creating a super rich billionaire class and they need your money, and there's a shell game, and if you understand the rules you can do it. And by the way, you want to become part of our community to exploit that best and get the best opportunities at the right time, because they don't all pop at the same time. It's all this and then that one is a little bit too much and it comes back, but there's something else that's going. You need to maximize. There's leverage available. You won't get the borrowing rates, but you can as a retail trader do an immense amount to protect you, building wealth in reset times. This is the serious game, building wealth in reset times. You need to go to the link below and find it and say book a call. And by the way, the only place you'll end up is the marketsniper.com website. A bit of social proof videos, materials for you to read. And when you're ready, you hit that part that says book a call in there. Only once you're happy to do so. It costs you absolutely nothing if you do the call. You're never wasting your time and you're never wasting our time, even if you don't choose to come on board. It's all good with us. You must be relaxed and you must feel it. But let me say to you, those not taking action or thinking they're doing so independently must realize the severity of the game that is occurring. They are hollowing out the middle classes to a nothingness, and 99% of that will be flattened down. And they are doing that by taxing you from below with the inflation and above with the static marginal tax rates. You're being squeezed into ever higher tax bands from below up. There's soon going to be nothing you can buy for $1. There isn't much you can buy from $1 today. There used to be a whole bunch. Okay, so that's lumber. Let's go to copper. That was an HVF that we spoke about quite early on. How's that beauty doing? By the way, just to give you an overview of copper there, this is how it's done after the COVID lows, 1.9, now 4.46. 4.46. How about that? Sub 2 through to 4.5. And you can see our HVF structure that was in there. You could have been leverage trading long, still got a target to make. Still got a target to make. A nice time frame for pattern, 4 hours. It's not the biggest, but it's not the smallest. And you can set and forget. Look how easy your journey is. Look how easy your journey is. Very little bearish, nasty pullbacks. From around here, we get in early. You had a minor pullback there and there. We expect a second chance visit to our key lines. You ran your interim. You've gone all the way up here. You're having a rest. By the way, do I think it will go further and beyond? Definitely in time. You can often have a succession of 5 or 6 of these. Ask us. We've done it on the USD Tri. We were doing it on Ethereum BTC from the 3s, 3.3s, 3.5s to now the 4.8% of a Bitcoin. We do it on across all markets. It occurs. The skill and method is the same. It will serve you well wherever you choose to play. That is the key secret. You are learning a skill of a lifetime to build wealth in an environment where we all monkeys on greased poles. The central bank is greasing your pole. Ooh, doesn't that sound funny? Yes, the Agent Orange is sitting there rubbing the, the good oily stuff on the pole. Yes, oh dear, I don't know if I'd touch her with a pole myself. But anyway, I don't want to digress. So that's copper. Copper to higher points. It's happening. Now all the Goldman Sachs reports start coming out. These guys all come out of the woodwork long after our HVFs. Do you want to trade news before the goddamn news? Do you want to know what Goldman Sachs is probably going to end up talking about a couple of weeks before? Learn HVF method, bud. The headlines always seem to come to us. The headlines come to us. But guess what? They're buying first before they release their report because they're freaking cheats. There's not supposed to be any insider trading, but there is. And we see it early and we get in and they keep stealing from you. And by the time they're telling you it's halfway, 3/4 of the way to the target before it'll rest. Agent Orange and the rest of the scamsters are long gone already long in this market. And they all know what they're doing. And they keep pretending that it's an unfortunate consequence that they're trying to deal with. They are out to steal from the poor. Let me just say, all the policies of Lagarde and everybody else is all about helping the poor and also the African American community. They care so much for the African American communities in America. There's so many people wishing to do well by them. No, they're not. They're stealing harder from them than anybody else. The people most affected are the people that barely get by on breadline. Not that everyone in the African American community is like that. I'm talking poor generally. It can be Latino, poor white. It can be poor anybody. They are hardest hit. Why? Because they have no assets in the stock market. They don't own Bitcoin. They're not getting any of the upside of the policies, but they're finding the bread costs twice as much. They're finding as a percentage of their net disposable income, food is one of the largest parts as well as rent. Their rent goes up, their food goes up. They are killing those people, not only with their vaccines, but financially too. Yes, so let's move on. What has been going on? Let's talk platinum. Platinum is in a small wee bit of a pullback. So silver, gold had good runs, but they're having a little bit of a rest now. Let's just remind you where platinum has been. Platinum has broken out of our long-term falling wedge and is a recovery play. We covered for you palladium. That was its break. That's how it's done so far today. Pretty damn good. And it's going to get better. It will keep getting better. Particularly the monetized metals are slightly behind the less high profile ones. That's why palladium is such a ripper, because no one is buying palladium for bullion on the same scale. The margins are too broad. It's not easily available. People don't know it. It's not known. Look at this palladium. Just made a wind-up HVS high. We're called for 4,000. Our target is 3,779. We're expecting an overrun on that. And that's just for then. That'll mean we'll have a rest. We'll have some pullbacks. There'll be some churn. You'll be out of it. You'll be off your leverage. You won't have the violence of the snapbacks. You'll have locked in, and then it'll pause for a while, and it will then go on higher later. But we take it one step at a time. They are here to violate you. And they're doing a pretty good job. They've got that rose stem, and they're bending you over, and they're giving you a little bit of wood right there. and it's a thorny piece of wood as well. That's what's happening, folks. Don't let them violate you. Don't let them do it. It's all a game. It's a clever, cunning ruse, an inflationary rip-off ruse, and it's designed to take all your pennies off you and reduce you to a totally needy class, wholly reliant on state. God forbid you are a self-made man, entrepreneur, makes your own money. Then you are a dirty nationalist. Then you are a non-solidarity, selfish person. That's where we are at. Anyway, 4,000 palladium, looking good, moving up fine, significantly up since we told you the first time. And you could have heard about it even sooner if you were in the community. The link below. Click, go to the website, book a call. It's easy, really, and you could start too. What about other things? We can have a look at the silver and gold, though. Nonetheless, it would be remiss of us not to. That's a messy old chart. So let's just have a little look on here. I'm not going to say to you, for me, this is looking like it's immediately about to rip. I just don't think that would be entirely frank. Technically, I think there's going to be a little bit more pause time. Despite this May Day stuff, I think we can go up, around, we can come a little bit down. I think roundabout later on, I would be guessing mid-June to September, October period. This might be about ready for a bit of a rip. So I think this is an accumulation period. You know that bar I was showing you? Physically, this is a good time to pick up because you can't time this. You've got to just net accumulate. It takes time. You've got money coming in. You net accumulate along this. And it doesn't matter if you buy there and it comes here, but you're buying more there, you're buying more there, you're buying more there, you're buying more there, you're buying more there. And then whoops, you're suddenly in money. That's how it works. So you want to keep net accumulating. I don't think this is about a rip on this broad time frame just yet. But I think it will in months to come. So it's looking good. It came out of its falling wedge. That was an important moment. So the squeeze resolved to the upside. Boom, like that. Splitter down the middle. That is it. So that's a recovery. That points to a recovery. That points to the distinct possibility later for that. But it's not just yet. But it could come suddenly quicker to us. Apparently, Sprott are doing a 1st May pump day. Yes, it might work for a bit on 1st May, but then they might smash it on the 2nd of May or the 3rd in the derivative markets, and you buy it for less. I say accumulate anyway. You don't have to wait for the 1st of May, but I like the idea of an initiative. But, don't be a mug chasing the price on the 1st of May when everyone else is. Maybe just accumulate, generally. Much smarter. And maybe on the 2nd and 3rd of May will be even better prices. A discount window will be held open for you to acquire more. Yes, sir. I want you all to own a ton of silver. That's right. Start dealing with your storage issues right now. So gold has come out of its channel that it was selling off, which is also positive for us. It did do a neck pop over there once. But this is significantly more positive. It's in a channel up. It's actually got a W bottom here, which has generated a target by 1820. And that's a nice little hammer. So while it did sell off and revisit its channel, which is actually quite classic and typical, overall I could see it walking up to the 1820. That nice possible trade. Look for a unique moment in it. It's not what's getting me super hot and excited right now. I'll talk to you more about ones that might be more imminent and may already be trade ready, but this is definitely investment ready and accumulate ready. And I would imagine seeing it run through that 1820 as another level to fall on a larger journey higher, which will eventually lead not only to all-time highs, but onwards, and possibly even double digits for the thousands coming. Let's see your comments. Yeah, snipers on point and better yet on target. Undisturbed Kingdom, he says. Baggio, yo. Yes, let us know your trades. I will short everything you own. That's great news. Good luck to you. Beta, Makish. I don't know what that was about. Okay, so let's carry on. First Majestic, going to be a little bit jaded because of silver coming off. A little bit unimpressive there, but it's got a hammer for today. It's drifted off a little bit. It's actually been relatively weaker than silver. Sometimes it's been stronger, sometimes weaker, but it's largely correlated, as you would imagine. So nothing too fantastic there, but I think that's a decent accumulation zone for those that want this equity, because it's broken out of its falling wedge. It's broken out of its falling wedge. There's a broadening structure, and I think short, medium term, probably okay. Couple of months, better still, June, July. So it's not immediate, but I think it's basing now. That doesn't mean it's about a rip, though. We told you about uranium last time. So again, this is an energy. The energies are very interesting for me at the moment, and I'm going to take you to oil soon. So that's probably a squeeze for later upside continuation. Very, very thin market, so be careful. Let's go straight to oil. Oil is the one I wanted to talk to you about, the black stuff. And I'm also going to talk to you about coffee. Yeah, the other black stuff. So I want to remind you what this line is. That one right there, big boy. I'm going to make him super fat for you. You may recall this macro falling wedge that, of course, led to the big call we gave you up top here that said single-digit oil. We'd also called there and said 60, and it ended up with overperformance and ended up hopelessly overperforming, running all the way to 25. So actually on this one, we were very accurate on the downsides. And we left it for a while to see how it recovered. And we've recently, since about October last year, been bullish oil. And we are at this point, and we are expecting at some point, smaller time frame fractal to set up a breakout. A breakout of what? What we call a capping descending grind line. No one else has a name for that. You don't need to have anything else. That's a whole falling wedge together, which is made up of a basing descending grind line and a splitter. There you know. Now you know. You'll learn what we do and how we use those things. But that capping descending grind line, we're expecting a breakout out of that at some point. And that will be the beginning of the big oil move. We've said to you, you're going back to triple digits and plus. So that could be a big moment, and it could move suddenly and fast. You think all the commodities are going to move? You think just some? I'm afraid to say this is not a narrow thing. This is a broad-based inflation cycle. They're going to keep denying the inflation so that they can keep running their low interest rate policies and making their billionaire buddies rich and setting up their sting to take all your money. Because that way they know they're taxing you on two fronts. They need you poor so that you are UBI and you therefore surrender for your vaccine, your update vaccine, your corollary vaccine, your winter version of the vaccine, your later summer version for the vaccine, and your vaccine's vaccine to vaccinate you against the effects of the vaccine. So that is what's coming. And how do they get you to cooperate? You rely on them to eat. That's pretty convincing. You see, they're like leverage. They like to talk democracy, but the truth is, it's Bolshevism, communistic Bolshevism. Last time Bolshevism came in, 20 million people plus died. I think they're looking to beat that record this time, and they're going about it pretty effectively. Anyway, let's stay away from these dark topics. That is structure that could be forming, and it's all forming along this mega important descending grind line that you've already come up to once. Let's go back to TG Pink. You came up to it once over there and there, and I think you're going to come up again. That doesn't mean you break that time. We could come around one more time and squeezy, Japanesey into the corner, up, and out you go. Japanesey, yes. Where's our fans from Tokyo? I'm feeling the diminished effect of lack of Tokyo love. For these precious sayings I'm putting together that shine great light upon your amazing nation and country. I want to feel more of the Tokyo love. But we'll have to see. Where's our Tokyo fans? That's probably late at night for them. Maybe I'm on the wrong timeline for our friends in Japan. Okay, so that's energies. That's oil. Big move to come potentially setting up. I think we go up, but then I think we'll probably do a little bit of a pop similar to that, and then we'll just ease off, but not as harshly. We won't have that chronic sell. This time I think we come back a little bit lower. I think that line's coming up underneath that. And then we go, go, go. Go, go, go. Why? Because it's the big inflation that has been decreed. There's no inflation. We need to print more money because of COVID. Because of COVID and the green policy. Central bankers are now environmentalists. Did you know that? It was all part of their remit all along. It's just recently they realized. I don't know if you knew that. It's just an observation. I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing more important than the green agenda. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, okay. Sounds like watermelon communism to me. Green on the outside, dark red of heart inside. That is the game. Anyway, so let's keep running through all of these that you could be long. And I'm giving you a couple of ideas. We refine them. There's equities behind them. There's a lot. We're actually going to take one of those equities that we shorted from $26 all the way to $3. And if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know. But it's one of those that we're going to be looking at. It's currently at around $9, been languishing. And I'm going to be lots of calls long on that one, because it is an energy play, and I think it's going to reflate back up. You see, you create volatility. The Fed creates volatility. The scamdemic creates volatility. Everything government does is designed to shake you out and buy it cheap for them. This is what Rockefeller did 100 years ago. Few hundred years ago, to be precise, in dominating and owning the entire oil industry. It used to be fragmented with lots of little oil operators. You own the whole show. You crash the price. You make it non-numerically possible for anyone else to thrive. You pick up the pieces for pennies in the pound. You then turn it into a monopoly. Competition is sin, is Rockefeller. But these are people that talk of democracy and fair capitalism, and that you're a racist because they're the supremacists. That's what's always amazes me. Isn't it beautiful? Anyway, back to oil. Let's go. We've done coffee, the other black, gold. How much is your coffee going to cost? We were talking about this one, and it gave us a break, and then it faded back in. It did that little jammy trick where it went early, and then came all the way back. And now, big gap there, big gap. On the coffee, 1461. Where is coffee on the bigger time frames? What are we on? We're on the daily at the moment. What are we on the monthly? Have a look at this chart. I am saying to you, this will go up and up and up, and it's got nothing much to do with beans and farming and everything to do with the money you're measuring it in. Although I do think this one might go up a little bit more as well, just because farming. My overall long-term super macro call for Robusta beans is 5,389. Yes, you heard me right. What's it at now? 1,458. And that will come quickly in a spike. You thought lumber would never go from about 240 to 1,700 or 1,500, did you? I mean, it's a boring old thing. It's a plank of wood. You chop down a tree, you cut the bark off, you do your slicing and dicing, and you send the wood down. It's a simple commoditized business in a commoditized market. How the hell did this happen? Because the money's worth nothing. And there's a few other elements, the green agenda, maybe restricting how many trees you can cut down, etc., etc., a bit of false scarcity that made that one pump. You could see these coming with HVF method and trade them before it became a meme on Facebook and on Twitter and all these other places. And that's where you make money. And each one of these markets are going to have their separate story. And they're going to give you specifics to that industry as to why it happened. And each industry is going to have its own little cute story, and they've all going to have popped up. But they'll never answer the reason why. Across a whole smorgasbord of commodities, the entire collective has gone up at different points, popping, fizzing, climbing, jumping, and all of that. Because they've changed all the dollar bills to $2 bills. You didn't know that, but they've done it. Because when you double the amount of money in circulation, you are actually reducing the buying power by 50%. Simple as that. It's called mathematics. It works. You should trust me on that. Dollar index. So what's the dollar been doing? The world's universal. They said the dollar is deemed overvalued. Overvalued against what? Other currencies? I don't know. So that's your falling wedge. You then got a rising wedge break to the upside. So let's have a look at that. Boom. That was your break. We actually told you could have got in early there. It's rallied, got up to around about 93.5. Since then, it was in a rising wedge. We expected that. It gapped through it. Down. This could go, and it could even run. That's the previous low that you can't see off there. That's what happens when you print. They're actually outprinting the other countries. Why? Because the dollar exports two things: dollars and empty containers. That's what it gets exported. And it imports everything else. It's called Triffin's dilemma, folks. It's called Triffin's dilemma. Let's show you that so that you can see it's not just me having a good laugh and a fun time. It is the fact. It is the fact. Let's show you about that dollar. So here we go. That is our friend Lagarde, Agent Orange. Do watch the silver when it finally goes. It could go to 4 digits. Still stand by that. It's not about to do anything spectacular right now, but do remember that when it could go so in a very, very strong way. By the way, copper and corn. Let's do the corn first. Corn is going above $7. Look at that chart. Look at that chart. Has it suddenly become harder? Do we have a shortage of land now that Kill Bill owns half of American farmland? Is that what's going on? That's corn. This is other people talking, guys. 3 in May, over 650 in April. May last year, 1 year, a commodity, an everyday product that gets an everyday consistent, dull, boring, minor margin that you can just about make a subsistence living with as a farmer, providing you have enough scale, has now gone from 3 to 650 in a single year. Is that normal? Is that normal, I ask you, with tears in my eyes? It is not normal, he screamed. It's not normal, he shrieked. It's brought to you by your perverse, pedophilic central banking cartel that are hell-bent turning this world upside down, reducing the number of people. Someone wants to show you beans. Beans going up. They're all going up. They're all going up. Why is this happening? If you haven't yet got the script, trust me, you should. It is your central banking cartel. There's copper. Let's see. There was others that I had for you pre-queued. One from Lisa Abramovic. Copper, yes, another one talking about copper. The drive for renewables. This is another theme that goes with copper. Rare earth mining are going to lead to much higher prices in copper. And let's go. Here we go. That's the one I was looking for. Look at this chart. Okay, let's try that again. It's off the screen. Oh, there we go. It came back. US ports are shipping more empties than loaded containers. Nobody is buying their stuff. And they're coming back full from China and Europe and everywhere else. So in short, America exports empty containers and dollars. That's Triffin's dilemma. You're destined to run deficits because the rest of the world needs dollars. You become the buyer of last resort, the producer of significantly lower resort compared to that which you consume. You are thereby an exporter of empty containers to the rest of the world, bringing them back stuffed full of goods. And that means you run a massive, massive deficit. That means you continue to add debt, which you allege you will be able to pay back, that people are sending you goods for and having to purchase your treasury bills. But the treasury bills aren't doing so well anymore. Nobody wants to buy them so anymore. The interest rate's going up and the value is going down. Oh dear, crunchy, crunchy time. Where's your cash at home? Do you have enough? Could you survive 3 months? Yes, sir. Do you have silver coins at home? Do you have bars? Do you have a couple of safe places? Yes, you should. Are you thinking about your prepping? As man of the house, it's your duty. And if you're a lady watching this, as a smart-ass lady watching this stuff who takes control over her life and makes sure everyone that she's protecting is properly wise, what have you done about all of this preparation? Okay, good. We're having some fun with this, aren't we? Yes, everything is burning. It's all fine. There were others. There's a bit of repetition in there. Yeah, that brings us up to date. Let's show you some more charts. And let's also have a look at the comments before. So we finished last chart, dollar index, and it's back down, falling. Is Vladimir Putin really the creator of Bitcoin? Says somebody. That is an interesting question. America is in deep, deep trouble. Everybody is, because we're all part of this leper colony, unfortunately. We've all doused on debt. We've all created more money out of thin air. We've all created inflation. Australia, inflation. South Africa, inflation. UK, inflation. Everything is costing more. Buying houses in the UK, prices going up in America, going up. Cost of building them, clearly with lumber going extremely up. New pieces of property. Land being acquired. Physical assets will hold you well, especially if a grid down occurs. I'm all for crypto, but I'm also for physical assets. Remember, you have a stable, not a single racehorse. Okay, let's have a look at a few other charts. I'm going to go over here. So to supplement our case on oil, let's show you the Patsy stuffing token. Oil, that is Aramco, Saudi Arabian Oil Co. Number of HVF set up there. You can see that one. You could have gone long there. You would have had a target there. You would have had overperformance up to there. You got another squeeze. That's breaking. I think that's getting ready to squeeze higher. Oil goes up, this goes up. They're trying to sell 1% to somebody. I think actually that 1% will be a good buy. Why you would want 1% of a company, I don't know. It's quite a large company, so it's quite a lot of money to tie up. But you'll have no voting rights, and you'll have a beheading megalomaniac who bonesaw kills his enemies in other countries in embassies. That's who you're going into business with. But hey ho, I'm maybe just a bit picky about who I choose for friends. Never mind. We've done AG. So, Facebook. We got to jump to Schmucky. Schmucky and the other data harvesting criminals are going to be reporting announcements, earnings today. And some people have speculated that not to be left behind by Tesla, that announced that they had bought Bitcoin a while back and actually sold 10%. We were just testing the liquidity. You see, you can get out. The door does work. Yes, we got out. Meanwhile, probably trying to add some income to his earnings because he's made more money on his crypto than he makes selling cars. How ironic is that? This guy is like a placeholder. People asked me about Doggy Coin and what is its sole purpose? It has no purpose, etc. Tesla's a bit like that. It kind of functions as a losing car making company that does other activities that can actually bolster the earnings. It gets credits for greenery, and those credits will no doubt only go up as the green agenda goes into full swing. Biden's doing infrastructure, and barely 25% of that actually goes into infrastructure. The rest is green this, green that, Quango this, Quango that. You can certainly see credits being flung around at all the mega corps with the right credentials, free money and bungs coming all your way. That's what Tesla is, this kind of space holder that kind of makes a few cars as well, but can't seem to make much money out of it. But has a mega market cap, gets all these credits, and also made money speculating on Bitcoin with borrowed money that he got out of his equity pump to the moon. And here we are. We're looking at the data thief that wants to sell everything to you and give all your information to the CIA. And he has got earnings today, and we have a target outstanding for Schmucky at 33492. There you go. Give it to you for free. That one, a squeeze. Wasn't the most sexy one. Taken a while to sort itself out. But eventually the rising wedge entry, the falling wedge entry was your best entry. You could have had a tight stop. That's as your risk. Boom, 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 bosh. That's a risk reward. That's what we do. We are chasing R's. We're not momentum chasers chasing cars like barking dogs. We chase the R's. RRR, risk reward ratio. And because it's breakout trading, it also happens in a quick time frame. Lower carry cost, recycle capital, do it again. More spins of your capital in a year, better for you, even with the losers. Okay, so now you understand. What do? You want to trade like that? Go down below, click here to book a call. Go check the website out first, make a mind, and do it if you want to. We will be at some point. The dollar's turning to shit. We haven't changed prices in absolute ages. I'm afraid it's going to have to change at some point. My dollar buys me a whole bunch less. Guess what? Our community gets better, stronger. We're adding new content. We're adding quizzes now at every end, so you test your knowledge on everything. It just keeps getting more awesome. We've got an amazing platform coming next with incredible features. We're looking at a bunch of really cool things, from TradingView integration to all sorts of things. It's getting better because I like it that way. I want it to keep getting better. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep investing. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to help people build wealth in reset times. And this is now. So the product keeps getting better. The dollar keeps getting less. It means I'll just wait a certain amount of time and we'll just go 2.5x once we've done the final launch of all our platforms. So don't leave it too late. You'll be caught without your trousers. You'll be caught sniffing children like Biden. Let's have a look at what else can we show you. We were going to show you a few things. This is a long, long list. I've done the oil, Wells Fargo. So this was the financials getting reinflated by the interest rate hikes. So just a change of pace a little bit. This draw we actually did for you on the bear side. Many of you will forget. I got called out. You were wrong on Fargo. We said we think there's a head and shoulders coming. That was round about there. It did what we call a complex shoulder. That means it went higher. So there's two parts to it. It's all part of a broadening pattern, by the way. We've just completed awesome content on that explains that to people. The guy over there said, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Higher shoulder, spit down, target made. He never came back and said, hey, it worked out all right. They never do. They just hate us. That's not to say we're always right. We're regularly wrong. I don't mind being called wrong. We just want to make money. The game is go out, build views, be wrong on some, be right on others. Have the financial mathematics on your side. If you're making a 6 R's on your rights and you're being wrong 3 times more often than you're being right, you're a legend. That's the funny thing, you see. And the guy who's always right but barely ever trades it because he's throwing out opinions like arseholes is poor. That's how it works in trading, I'm afraid. It's whether you make money. That's the only thing that matters. And then what you do with that money should be pursuit of lifestyle and freedom against the most draconian, overreaching, paranormal, government, transnational forces that you've ever faced globally in existence right now. You need ammo, mate. I mean ammo in terms of financial ammo. I mean ammo in terms of the practical ammo. I mean ammo in everything. Food, life, community. You need your pals. You need everything around you. This is a big force to resist. Look at that, how it bows down there. And then snap back, currently at that same key, 45 level. That was on neckline for the original head and shoulders. So the banks have been reflated. Wells Fargo. Buffett dumped. He's crap trader, man. He dumped in all of this. Look at that. If he knew head and shoulders, he could have been a buyer and actually reaccumulated there and could have sold when we were warning about it over there, way back in 2019 sometime. Okay, so that's Wells Fargo. That's banks getting a bit of a reinflate at the moment. That doesn't mean I'm a believer in the sector, by the way. Doesn't mean at all. But we'll see how that one plays out. Let's have a look at a couple of the other commodities. ZI, 10-year 2 notes. We know that's down. That's the other coffee chart, which is Arabica. Now, how about that for a chart? If you ever want to touch yourself below the belt in an excited manner, this is one of the charts for which you may be considered to be staring at real chart porn. Yes. Why? Because that is a macro. And I've shown you this before and you've forgotten. That's why I'm talking about the black stuff today. The black stuff is your black gold oil, your black gold coffee. You need both. That is your 3 impulse foiling wedge. 1. That is your second impulse. 2. Kind of a little bit complex all the way down into there. There's your tiny 3 at the bottom. So it never quite came back to the other side. There's your lengthy 2. That was just that 2 spanned 5 years. You're talking about an overall falling wedge that has been the better part of multi-decades that is now breaking. Let me restate that in case you missed it. I'll even give you the monthly chart. And you can see it's chopped about before. Let's just give you this cycle. That started. You jumped onto that lower line. I think I need my, am I in log or in regular? I think I'm in regular. Yeah, regular, we'll leave it in regular. So you came off those extreme lows, you popped into that wedge, you went to the other extreme. So I call this tops and tailing, the lows 69, 270. That's meant to be 70, by the way. And that's meant to be 270. And the midpoint is meant to be 170. So it just slipped a little bit. And you are at the bottom edge of a wedge break. You broke the wedge, you return move. This is what coffee is doing right now. And it's addictive. Caffeine is addictive. You want drug addicts as clients, as Buffett always says. All these criminals want drug addicts as clients. That's why the Sassoon family, your Ashkenazi, Sabbatean, Frankist, went to China because everybody wanted their silk tea and everything they made, and they didn't want any of our stuff. And we made them opium addicts to gut their culture and ransack their country. That's why Britain still owned Hong Kong till 1999. All because of the bankster warfares, selling drugs, creating addicts. That's what they do. The Sabbatean Frankists are the biggest purveyors of slavery, the biggest purveyors of drugs, and the biggest purveyors of anything that is addictive, including porn and many other things. And now you have the coffee market, and people need their coffee. Their cigarettes and coffee will be currency. Cigarettes, coffee, and alcohol. There was an Oasis song like that. Anyway, so I digress. So that's interesting to you, and up it goes. And let's just have a look at that bigger time frame. It's had a habit previously of sort of every odd decade getting a bit leery. This will be the decade that it goes beyond. You'll see you kind of topped and tailed. That's what I call topping and tailing. Didn't come the whole way down this time, and now we're starting a journey up. It ain't going to, in my opinion. On balance of probabilities and off this chart. Off the chart. Off the chart. Off! Like that Polish priest in Canada. Out! Out! Yep, it's going to go out the top. That's what I'm calling. You won't even see it on this thing. That means well beyond 300. Probably 400, 500, 600, possibly even thousands. I'm telling you, the printing world is going to have effects you have never seen. You haven't had the ability to quantify before, and you shall see it. That is what's coming. Let's have a look at the comments. I want the opium, says Phil. Yes, give me opium. I'll take the opium over the Maxine, if you know what I mean. At least I'll get high. What stock to play the coffee boom? Well, that's kind of a tough one, actually. It's a good question, and it's kind of a tough one. I think trading in the underlying commodity is actually the best. I don't know any one. You could you see a lot of the coffee growing is third world and quite distributed. So you'll have Central Africa, you'll have South America, you'll have Indonesia, Java, Jakarta, da-da-da-da. There will be some companies that are very focused on the agri and package it up, but... yeah, I don't know if that necessarily means more profits for them. I don't know if they get more profitable. The price goes up, but the input costs go up. Their growers go up. They've got to pay more. They might get some more profit, but it's in deflated dollars. It's kind of a little bit weird. It's almost better to be in the coffee because that's the pure hedge against the dollar weakness. The other things their margins might not be able to grow very much because they're already getting too expensive and everyone's complaining. You know, and there's a lot of pressure to cap it. By the way, price controls will come again. Price controls will come again. All the idiots will do all the idiotic things again. And they know it, and they do it to break the system. They will decree, government is here to help you. We've got to do something about the poor. It's time for price control. They that have stripped the poor with their inflation and poisoned the poor with their vaccines. They're Maxines. Let's call them Maxines from now on. That's a slutty little wench, Maxine. They will then say, it's time to help the poor. UBI now. And that means more printing of money, faster acceleration, parabola. You actually have to work hard to break the system. Everybody goes, and this really pisses me off, guys. They will go, oh, but it's all empires come to an end. It's just a sign of the times. They have to do it. No, they're actively breaking it. It actually was fine. Do you realize with the COVID lockdown, they still didn't break it. People still operated. Restaurants still did some quick delivery, kept partially alive. A lot of things, survival instincts, but a lot of people actually did okay. Some businesses Small businesses did okay, not just the Amazons and the Facebooks. We did great because we called it and we predicted it. We survive and we grow. But the point is they actively have to do everything in their will to break human ingenuity and adaptability and break this economy. So they're going to keep doing, they're going to do UBI and spoil the currency. The basis of, and the taxation policies and everything will fall apart. Because eventually, if you're all millionaires, but it's meaningless, it's the same as having 10 grand a month or 5 grand a month, you'll be taxed to a ridiculous degree. And the currency collapse, everyone will be trading in buttons, bitcoins and silver. It will become so unreliable. But before that happens, as it's in the process of happening, much like they stumped the last gold and silver boom, it never ran its full cycle. They will do a full reset so that they don't have the credibility put on them that they broke it. The central bankers broke it. Hear me now. Greenspan commenced the process of breaking the American economy with a pump and dump scheme that every follow-up person has pursued, with an ever greater degree of indebtedness and a complete flaunting of sound money, so that they could finish this end game for their larger goal of crashing the economy and impoverishing the masses and creating a billionaire class for the select few that understood the script and are part of their cartel and process. That is what's happening. You are trying to survive in one of the most bizarre and overlording, overreaching times ever experienced in economic, social history. This is a coup of the world. You are participating or witnessing a coup d'etat of the entire planet by a cartel. And the financial destruction thereof is the processes you are now witnessing. Understand what that means and take appropriate action. This is a coup d'etat of the planet. I say no more. Links below. Book a call. Gold and silver bars like that which I showed you. Link is attached below. You want to open an FTX, link below. Bullion vault for internet money. I still have some. I've rotated more into physical. It's very quick, it's convenient, and you can reserve the bars. But I think you should start migrating into a greater holding of physical. Get more cash on you. Keep it somewhere safe. It could get funky around July. The guys that seem to have an amazing prediction record have spoken. With that, we've had a great look at the inflation seasons. I think there's some more charts I wanted to show you, but we cover it in our premium community. You can come be part of that if you wish. There's also a self-study. We also take crypto as payments, by the way. We also take crypto as payments. You can also grab the mini-series if you have a few resources. Go and watch and get an idea. Start saving, even if it's $10 a month. Start the process right now. The minute you take action, you relieve depression. You will start planning to move forward. People who take action always feel better than those that don't. But do not underestimate the times you are living in. With that, I love you and leave you. The violator himself, the market sniper. It's inflation times. It's time to be leveraged long. You can choose the right markets with us during this period. With that, I say goodbye.